Live.
Greetings, salutations, respect and love. Hey, it's the Sunday Prog stream, and I have got the all-star cast with me here today. Cody from Brockway's Vinyl Bites is here. Cody, how you doing, Cody?
Oh, I'm rocking. I'm glad to be back in the co-captain's chair among many greats here on the panel.
Flying high with the greats. I'm just nothing but MVPs up here today. We've got none other than Scot from the Myth of Logic, his debut appearance on the Prog Corner. We had to kind of juggle things around, but we had to have him on board for this episode. Scot, how are you?
I'm doing real fine. I'm just very excited to do this. ELP is my heart, so my life has been leading up to this.
It's all been leading up to this, hasn't it? And, Pontus couldn't be here, but there he is in spirit. How you doing, Pontus? We love you. We'll get you back up here maybe next week, maybe the week after that.
Pontus, send me your address.
Tara's back. Everybody, how you doing, Tara?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back. I missed you all so much. I can't cope without you on a Sunday.
watching your channel is an absolute privilege. Everybody has a great channel up here. Scot's not really a YouTuber. He's an artiste, man, but the rest of us here, we've all got great channels. But I got to say, Tara, you and your dad just kill it every single time you're both on screen. It's just a pleasure and a joy. And obviously, I'm not alone. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah, remember, exactly.
Remember that.
It's been crazy.
It's awesome stuff. And, we had them out to pasture for a couple of weeks, but the people demanded it. They would not stop hounding me. It was just like it was a deluge. We must have Harld the Unstoppable. Where is Harld the Barrel? We can't live without the Dutch Nightmare. And by popular demand, he is back. Harld from Harld's Prog Rock Show. Yes. Happy Easter, Harld.
Yeah, thank you. Also, happy Easter. 2 weeks ago, I did my Deep Purple album ranking, and it's going really nice with almost 1,000 views. And some time ago, I did the 90 best prog rock albums, live albums, and also that show is really going well with almost 1,000 views.
Nice.
My channel, Harld's Prog Rock Show.
Harld,
I watched that whole thing.
He's never one to shy away from just a little bit of self-promotion.
Yeah.
We love that about you, Harld. Because my mom always taught me, if you don't toot your own horn, who's gonna, right? And, underneath me here, at least how I'm seeing it, from Alberta, from the depths of the deep, deep, darkest forests of Alberta, Canada, Wayne, how you doing this morning?
Oh, man. Going to be better after today because have to do the walkthrough of the apartment today. My wife's there just doing the final cleaning touches. But channel-wise, should be back up and running next week. Just right now in the deluge of, can't see it behind me, but there's pretty much boxes all around me. So I got to go through all those. But yeah.
We appreciate you, pushing the boxes out of your way.
Yep.
But nothing beats, that one time Pontus was up on screen with the wife beater and the old dirty microwave behind him. That was the absolute best background in the history of the stream. But today, boys and girls, we're not here to talk about Harld's bad interior decorating or Pontus's for that matter. We're here to talk about the great Emerson, Lake and Palmer. We're going to be ranking their top 10 tracks. Is that even possible with so many great tunes? I don't know, but we're going to start with Cody, and he's going to break it down. I want to hear, what your top 10 tracks are and kind of what your history with the great ELP is, Cody.
Well, my history with ELP, I love them so much that when Asia came to Toronto about 5 years ago, I had to get the meet and greet passes just to meet Carl Palmer. Yeah. I mean, it was great. I got to meet Ron Thal in the process, Bumblefoot, who's now in Whom Gods Destroy, man. That record is amazing. that Insanium album is good.
Yeah, it's crazy good.
But yeah, he's awesome. I had to meet Carl Palmer. He was so nice. I got him to sign my box set. I don't have it on me here. I'd have to run to grab it, but I pulled it out of the bag for him to sign, and he goes, "I'll sign that box, yeah." I don't know why that just stuck in my head, but I got a picture with him and got to meet Jeff Downs and stuff in the process. I mean, obviously, Carl has been a huge influence on my playing. I did a cover of The Barbarian on my drum channel on YouTube here. I'm going to bring that over to Brockway's Vinyl Bites. So the next one, that will be uploaded onto my main channel here. And so y'all will get to see it if you are so interested.
Nice.
But, I mean, he just... I went out, I bought brushes for that video in specific, man. For that middle part. That
commitment. Hold on. You bought brushes. You didn't have brushes already?
This was a couple years ago. No, I didn't have brushes. I did have, but I had broke one of them. And so at the last minute when I went to record this video, I was like, God, I got to run out and grab brushes. So I ran out that afternoon and then came back and did it.
It's okay. I'm a guitar player and I do not own a capo. So
yeah, there you go.
I've got 10 of them.
I had a classical guitar teacher that he told me one time, if I ever catch you putting a capo on that guitar, you're never coming into this classroom again. So I just always had this is my capo right here, man. I had to learn the hard way, right?
Well, keep in mind, like I kind of play more. Like that was probably the only time I've really had to use brushes was for that song.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually play, and that's the only time really that he uses brushes in ELP. Usually it's all heavy hitting other stuff, right? But I could go on about my fandom of Carl Palmer and haven't even touched on my love of Keith Emerson and Greg Lake yet. So we're going to have to do that in this list here. Honorable mentions, we're going to get those out of the way first, is The Sheriff.
Ooh, yeah.
And Take a Pebble from the first album.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bender and C'est La Vie. Do you know? Da, 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 da. Beautiful.
I love Jeremy Bender, man. That song gets no love because people kind of lump it in with the Are You Ready Eddies and Benny the Bounces of the world. Jeremy Bender's on a whole different plane than those two songs. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, and I think when they played it live, what was it that they used to pair it with? Was it Hoedown? No, it wasn't.
The Sheriff.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah,
complete with Greg's wrong bass note.
yeah.
If you listen to the Welcome Back version, there is a very bad wrong note in the bass on that.
Well, I love hearing stuff like that because it means it's an overdub. So, number 10. Cody's list will take an hour. Yeah, especially because I'm going to sing every song the way Jeff loves it. Number 10 is a Greg ballad, and it is Still You Turn Me On. Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Beautiful. Love that. And so to prove Jeff wrong, we're going to go right to the next song. Oh, actually, I want to take a second. I'm not picking a specific thing from this album, but I want to talk about this just for a split second here.
Peter Gunn.
This venue where this was recorded at is the Big O in Montreal, where I just saw Metallica last summer.
Oh, that's
Except
cool.
This was 45 years prior, but it's still the same. It's still got that big. They have a roof on it now, but they didn't have a roof back then. But this is right here in Canada, baby. Woohoo!
That's a good record.
Cool stuff.
That was supposed to be a double album. But Ahmet Erdogan saw the handwriting on the wall and said, it's over. Cut it down to a single album. It lost its impact. It would have been way better as a double album.
Well, luckily we got the triple with Welcome Back, My Friends.
Right? There you go.
Yeah.
Number 9 is possibly their most famous song, Lucky Man. Just a great song. I mean, the fact that, you listen to a tune like that, Greg Lake was like 18 when he wrote them. Actually, like even younger. I think he was like 15 when he wrote the lyrics to that song and like 22 when he brought it to the band. And just awesome. And of course, that was the first time that a lot of people heard that Moog synthesizer at the end of that. Someone had dropped it off at the studio or something like that. And Keith basically left because he wasn't feeling the song or something. So he went out to the bar, had a couple drinks, and came back, set up the little Moog, and had his little minute solo at the end of that. And boom, changed prog rock history, man, by accident. How the hell is that? But yeah, Lucky Man from the first album. This album is going to make an appearance again very soon.
You've been corrected, by the way, Cody.
Was I
Apparently,
corrected?
Greg was 12.
Yeah, he was
Lucky
12. That's correct.
Yeah, I knew he was young. I knew it was very young when he wrote the lyrics. Yeah. That's impressive. Number 8 is Hoedown. And here's the proof of my meeting Carl Palmer right there.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Yeah, Hoedown. Yeah, just awesome. And it's a lot of fun to play on the drums. That should be one of my next drum covers that I record, because that's super fun to play. It's super dynamic. It's, it's loud and quiet, and it's just up and down. Yeah. Yeah, awesome.
Can you play it at the welcome back speed?
Maybe I could try.
Hey, Cody.
Yes, sir.
The great Barry from Classic Album Reviews listening to you, and he really thinks that we should be talking a little bit more about Greg Lake's buttery voice, and he couldn't be more right, man. I loved his vocals until they were completely shot and they weren't any good anymore. Which happened when did that happen, Scott? When did his voice just completely get terrible? Well, he was so good for so long.
I'm gonna mention that in
okay. Those those questions will be answered. Yeah. But yeah, Barry's watching, so I just had to interrupt. That's awesome. We love Barry. He's absolutely the best in the business at what he does, and we're just all little peons trying to be as good as him one day. What number were you on, Cody? I got all distracted and all starstruck. I'm sorry.
I'm jumping on to number 7.
Oh, okay.
I just finished up number 8 on to number 7. Yes, okay. You're right about Greg's voice, especially in this next song I'm about to mention. If you notice, as time went on, Greg, no disrespect to Greg Lake because I love him, but as he kind of got a little more unhealthy, we'll say, maybe, I don't know. As he got older, his voice got deeper and different than the smooth high notes that he was hitting on stuff like Pictures at an Exhibition and Trilogy, which is my number 7. Trilogy, this song is absolute chaos, but not in the sense of chaos from a band like Vandergraaf Generator, that type of chaos. I'm sorry, Tara. It's still you actually kind of got me into Vandergraaf Generator a little bit, so pat yourself on the back.
I knew I would.
And where did Harld go?
It's those cute girls,
Bed, maybe?
Where did Harld go?
Did he fall asleep? Oh, there he is.
Here he comes.
Some juice.
I'm back.
Are you okay, Harld? Are you going to be all right?
Yeah, no problem. Just a small drink.
Okay, just let me know if you're having any. For the younger crowd, you probably don't get it, but once you get to be a certain age, I guess. Harld had the drink as the prop, but we really know what's going on. The weak bladder, the prostate issues. It happens, buddy. We're all boomers. It's all good. But, now you just let me know if you need to go next after Cody, all right? Because I know, in all seriousness, I know, Harld, you haven't been feeling great for the last couple days. So I told you didn't need to be here this entire stream. So if you want to go after Cody,
I will do my part after Cody's finished.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let me speak. So my number 7 is Trilogy because it is very chaotic, but it is very rounded and balanced at the same time, but still it's out there, man. I mean, some of the changes that Emerson wrote in this song is unbelievable. Then it's 8.5 minutes of just pure bliss, and it's got this beautiful melodic vocal from Greg, and just this wonderful stuff from Keith in the first half of the song. Then the drums come in, and it just goes in this whole other crazy area. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, isn't that kind of what prog does anyway? But yeah, Trilogy from the Trilogy album.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
number 6 is another one. You could have swore this could be my favorite ELP album. Number
What do
6.
you think?
It's a Greg ballad. It is just, I think Carl Palmer is just on like bongos on this song. Keith does a really cool solo, but it's mostly Greg. It is From the Beginning. And that's a big radio hit, man. You can still turn on classic rock radio and hear that from time to time today. And just a beautiful song, fun to play on the guitar. There's cool little fingerings and things that he does on it, especially in that beginning. I love that acoustic intro thing before the song actually kicks in. Awesome. Great stuff. Great stuff.
And there's bongos too.
And there's bongos. Yeah.
Bongos.
Bongo bonus.
Extra credit for bongos.
Bongo Palmer. There we go.
Bongo bonus.
My next one is a 40-minute epic take on a classical piece. I'm not picking one piece of this.
Okay.
I'm not going Promenade or the Great Gates of Kiev. I'm going the whole live Pictures at an Exhibition because it's amazing. It is outstanding. And every time I hear this, I am reminded of why I love it so much. Every freaking time I hear this, it is just like, this is perfect. This is prog perfection.
I think you need to take Nutrocker off of there for it to be officially one piece. I might be with you all the way up until the end of the Great Games of Kiev before Nutrocker. That to me is where that piece of music ends. Nutrocker is like a
I hadn't thought about that.
I think
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, take Nutrocker off. That's fine. I like it, but
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it, but it's a different piece.
But the actual Pictures at an Exhibition up until that side 1 and the majority of side 2, this album blows my mind every time. It's one of those, if you don't hear it for a while and you come back and play it again, it's like, man, these guys were absolutely happening. They were just geniuses at
Monsters.
Monstrous is absolutely the way to put it. And Greg wrote lyrics over classical music. I love it. I love it. I can't. I have to move on because I won't stop talking about it. Next up is what I think is probably Tara's favorite song, if I've been paying attention. The title track from Tarkus. Yeah.
What gave it away? What gave it away?
What gave it away was the top 10 prog epics video you did last week.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Look at that beauty. Look at that picture disc.
I've got the original vinyl too, but this is
that's just cool. That's just cool. Come on.
It's just fun to show.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Again, that's an epic piece. I'm sure I don't have to go into too much detail about it. All I probably need to say is yeah, you get it. You already know. You know what's up. Let's get that. We'll take care of that later. Because that is the last appearance from that record. And we're going back to the first one here. Where's the first one? Come on out. There we go. Ba, ba, ba. Number 3 is Knife Edge. Again, one of my go-tos behind the kit. I love playing that song. It is so fun to play. All the Carl Palmer-isms throughout that song, the great fills and cool changes and stuff. Yeah, and it's almost like a metal song. Like
it is. That's correct.
I mean, I'm a huge metal guy, right? And that is almost, it's almost like a metal song. I mean, it's even got heavy vocals from Greg Lake in parts near the end, but when he comes in those somber choruses, just a step, cried the sad man, take a look down. It really shows the dynamics that all of them had as musicians, right? And the way it can go from in your face to like really sort of, gentle and beautiful back here, right back up here. It's just, it's prime time musicianship. And they let you know it too. Knife Edge from the 3rd record. And number 2. Back from this one again. Yeah, you can tell what my favorite era of ELP is for sure. The first 5. Barbarian, man. the Barbarian. That Bela Bartok piece. Again, I love playing it on the drums. As we were talking about, it's super fun. Just a great time. It's super heavy, and it's, just it's all of this stuff, and it's like it's 5.5 minutes of just awesome material. I mean, it's classical gun heavy rock. What more could you want? And my number one, last but not least, is Carnival 9. First impression, second impression, and third impression, all of them. All of them.
All them impressions.
Yeah, that's one piece. That is one piece.
I don't want one impression. I want all impressions.
Definitely them all.
If you buy the there's an Atlantic double CD, triple CD set, it actually comes with all of Carnival 9 in one track. So if you import it to your iTunes or whatever, it comes as one big long piece. It's not split up like the album is when you buy it digitally, but we're talking about vinyl. Carnival 9. I love the jazziness of the second impression as well too.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff. And the way that Carl Palmer follows whatever, I mean, well, not only Carl, but the way that the three of them worked so well together, and Emerson could write these really out pieces, and the other guys just follow along like it's, no problem. They've got it. Oh, I want to be in a band like that, man. I'm sure many of us have heard ELP at one point, even if we don't play an instrument, and just said, man, I would love to be in a band like that. That's good stuff. Anyway, that's my top.
There you go. That's an amazing list, Cody. Fantastic. Good
Thank
deal.
you.
Oh, look who's in frame. Look at that.
Oh,
that
hello.
dog is so cute. We love your dog.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say I hadn't been here for the last week or two. I'm so glad to be back among great company here. I love you, Scott, and Harld, and Tara, and Mythologic, Scott. All of you guys. I love you all.
Wasn't the same without you, Cody. We definitely missed you. Scott, I'm sorry. I'm going to bump you, and we're going to go to Cody.
No.
No one ever – let it never be said that I don't care about the welfare and the well-being of my co-panelists. I'm a philanthropist, if nothing else.
You're always great to us, man. You're always
from the Netherlands. Oh, man, it's good to have you back. What are your 10 favorite Emerson, Lake and Palmer tracks, sir?
Yeah, first of all, I have to tell you that I went into Emerson, Lake and Palmer in the mid-'80s when I heard Peter Gunn on the radio, because Peter Gunn was a big hit in Europe in 79, actually. So that was the starting point for me. And then I went back and bought all the albums. And I've seen Emerson, Lake and Palmer twice live, in 92 with the Black Moon Tour in the Netherlands, and in 1997 with another tour. So it was great to see them live. It was fantastic. First of all, I start with a book from 3 years ago. This one. Maybe you don't know this book. It's simply called Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Oh, there's the book. Very nice, very nice. And because in this book are very nice pictures, and I've chosen 2 pictures for the show tonight. That's 74, the California Jam, the biggest concert ever. It was a festival with Deep Purple and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And Emerson, Lake and Palmer played brain salad surgery. And if you want to see that concert, it's on YouTube with Carnival 9. Carnival 9 is on YouTube. It's also officially released on DVD. Then, very important for the fans in the Netherlands, this is the concert in 74 in the Ahoy, Rotterdam, in the Netherlands, the brain salad surgery tour. I was too young for that. I was 8 years old, so I haven't visited that concert. That's very logical, of course. And this is their best live album. Welcome back, my friends. It's fantastic. It's actually my number 2 in my album ranking, because this is such a great album with Carnival 9 and Tarkus. And in Tarkus, we have Epitaph from King Crimson.
Yeah,
in the
I love
always
that
a
part.
bonus.
I love that part so much. It's just, and I got to tell you, I prefer the Lucky Man on that album too, with just Greg. I really do. He was so at the top of his game. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And the version of Carnival 9 is actually 35 minutes long. So it's even longer than on the studio album. And the song is about the battle between the computer and the man. Carnival 9. Great stuff. And Keith Emerson is my all-time prog hero. Okay, then we have, of course, the already mentioned Works live album. And on CD, Scott, I can tell you, it's a double album.
Yeah.
With pictures at an exhibition, the short version from 15 minutes. And it's recorded in Montreal in the famous Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, the Big O.
The Big O.
How it should have been released in the first
Cody.
place.
From Cody, yeah. And then I have, of course, the Royal Albert Hall show from '92, because I've seen this show in the Netherlands, and it was the reunion tour from Emerson, Lake and Palmer because of their Black Moon album. And it was great to see that show. My first time Emerson, Lake and Palmer live. And then most people don't know this album, but it's fantastic. The Keith Emerson solo album with Mark Bonilla on vocals. And it's a concept album from 40 minutes. And it's released in 2008. And it's great. Emerson is at the top of his game with Mark Bonilla on vocals. Keith Emerson Band with Mark Bonilla. That's the album. And I hope you know this album. Okay, great. Thank you. Scott, do you know this album?
I do.
This one?
I do. I do.
Okay. Do you like it?
I got to check that out now.
Okay,
Mark
then my top 10. As you know, I always take only one song from one album because, in my opinion, you have to pay attention to as many albums as possible.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
That's my opinion. I start with my number 10, and that's from the Black Moon album, and it's called Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's originally written by a classical composer, Prokofiev, and now it's on the Black Moon album, and it's Romeo and Juliet, and I like that song very much. Yeah. Okay, great stuff, Scott. Great stuff, Cody. Then we go to Love Beach. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Woo.
Love Beach. And the song is, of course, the epic. And the epic is called Memoirs of an Officer and a Gentleman. And I like that epic. And on the rest of the album, we have Canario. That's also good. And the other songs are really bad.
I don't like this record.
No, it's not a bad record. It's just not a good Emerson, Lake and Palmer record.
There you go.
For another band, it might have been considered a masterpiece, but
that's a good point. That's a good point to be made.
I always thought it was their Who record.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like it had a lot of feeling like it was the Who instead of Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
I don't know the lyrics to "Taste of My Love." I heard someone on Sea of Tranquility point out the lyrics to that.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
That's what it is.
I'm sorry, Harld. Continue, man. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Then I go with three. Emerson, Barry, and Palmer. Actually, Greg Lake isn't in the band, and Robert Barry was his replacement. So I would call this band Emerson, Barry, and Palmer, but the guys decided to call it Free. And on this one, we have Desde la Vida, which is a short epic from 10 minutes long. And Desde la Vida is really great, with lots of keyboards by Keith Emerson. and I like that song. Also very good is On My Way Home, and that is dedicated to the boss of the Charisma Records who died that same year. Sorry, I've forgotten his name. But the song for me is Desde la Vida. Do you know this album?
Yes, very well. Very well. I love that record. I love the whole thing. Desde la Vida in particular. Matter of fact, I'll be talking about that song myself.
Okay, nice. Then we go to Works Volume 1. And for me, the song is their famous hit single, recorded in the famous Montreal Stadium in the snow. Lots of snow there. And in 1977. And the song is, of course, Fanfare for the Common Man, originally written by Aaron Copland. Fanfare for the Common Man. That's the song from this album for me.
Hey, America.
That's a good one.
The Montreal people love the prog, man.
Yeah, great stuff. Then, of course, because I liked this album so much, the Emerson, Lake and Powell album. It's actually my number 6 in the top 10. And I take the first song, The Score. And I like this album. On this CD, there are in fact 2 bonus tracks, which are also very good.
The Locomotion.
The Locomotion.
Love it.
And Vacant Possession.
Hey, are they including the bonus tracks on the reissue?
Yeah.
The original vinyl does not have the Locomotion, and it's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
I love it.
Vacant Possession is also not on the vinyl version.
Yep.
Okay. But this is a great album, and it's of course a coincidence that we have another P, Palmer in Asia and Powell in Emerson, Lake and Powell. But as I have said before, some weeks ago, Emerson, Lake and Powell are all in heaven because they all died. Yeah, that's true. Okay,
it's true.
Then we go to Pictures at an Exhibition. I've chosen one song, and that's of course The Great Gates of Kiev. I like that song. I like the whole album. It's a classic.
Definitely.
Dus fantastic. And if you want to see this one live, it's also officially released on DVD. So you can see the live movie. And I think it's also on YouTube. Cody, you have to check out the live DVD from Pictures.
I definitely do. I'm going to go hunt it down right now. Thank you.
Because the live DVD is fantastic.
Yeah, well, it would be. Yeah, man. That's wow. I didn't even know that was released, I don't think.
Yeah, it was officially released, and Keith Emerson is wearing a silver suit. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Great stuff. Then we go to the first album, simply titled Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And I go for the song The Three Fates with the church organ.
Yeah, that's a killer.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's a killer track.
Killer track, huh? Yeah.
Not a sleeper moment on that record.
Nope, there is not.
That's a 10.
Yeah.
Great song. And when you start a band and you release this album, it's in fact 10 out of 10 points, your first album.
Yeah. And the first gig was in front of like 500,000 people or something, right?
Isle of Wight. Yeah.
Isle of Wight.
Actually, that was their second show.
They had a tune-up at the Plymouth little city hall gig that they had. I forget what they call it. The Free Hall, the Plymouth Free Hall. In front of like 50 people, and then their second gig in front of 500,000 people,
and they never looked back.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, that's great.
And the Isle of Man is also released on CD. Very nice, good sound quality. Then we go to Trilogy, and I decided to choose for The Endless Enigma part 1 and part 2. The Endless Enigma is great. The whole album is great. Cody has also mentioned lots of tracks from this album. And most people don't know that the artwork of the album, the cover, has been done by Hypnosis.
Oh, that's cool.
Dus, very nice, very nice. The Endless Enigma, that's my track. Then, of course, my T-shirt, Tarkus. Yes, there it is.
Oh, that's an awesome shirt, Harld. I love that.
Yeah, I bought this shirt in '92 at the Black Moon Tour in the Netherlands.
That's awesome.
This is a very old T-shirt.
I love the T-shirt, Harld.
Yeah, I love it too, man.
Yeah, great stuff. And of course, my number 2 is the title track, Tarkus, the long epic, 20 minutes long. And what can I tell about this? It's groundbreaking. It's from '71, and Emerson was the first one to freak out on all those keyboards and also on the handmade Moog synthesizer made by Bob Moog.
Yeah.
Great stuff. And then, of course, my number 1, Carnival 9.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I can tell you a short story about the artwork. The artwork is made by Swish, and this man is called H.R. Giger, and Giger or Geiger. And actually, Emerson and Palmer did a tour in Europe, and when they played the show in Zurich, they also went to this man and decided to choose this artwork for the album.
That's killer.
And I think it's great stuff. Carnival 9, my number 1.
But who knows what the album Brain Salad Surgery was supposed to be called? Scott, do you know that?
Whip some skull on you.
Thank you. Very well done. Harld, that was an outstanding list. Harld, oh man, I'm so happy that you were here today. If you need to take off, you're excused. Your job is done. You did an amazing amount of work on that list. Yeah. It's Harld from Harld's Prog Rock Show, everybody. Yeah. But I'm going to Scott from Myth of Logic next. His list, his whole life has been leading up to this moment. And, that's a pretty heavy statement, especially from a guy who put this CD out a couple years ago, Surrounded by Ghosts. What a good record that was. But the new one's even better, man. And who releases an album on New Year's Eve, by the way?
I did.
Oh, that's right. That guy did. It's Scott from Myth of Logic, everybody.
That's awesome.
How you doing, man?
I couldn't resist the mathematics of that date because the date is 1-2-3-1-2-3.
There you go.
12/31/23, and I couldn't resist it. And this one, when it came out, the release date was 11/11/22. Again, I couldn't pass up the.
You youngsters and your love of 11/11, by the way.
Yeah, I just
think you probably have a tattoo in your nether regions with 11/11, don't you, Scott? I know about you guys. But well, anyway, your love affair with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Tell everybody how you were introduced to the band, what they mean to you, and why you're here today.
Well, long before I was sort of obsessed with ELP, my dad would listen to them around the house, and it sort of filtered its way in. I was into other music at the time, and then sometime in around the period where Works was released, it just went full blown, where I was completely obsessed. I did want to real quick show people a few things that you may be interested in if you don't have them. If you don't have this book, that's Keith's autobiography.
Signed too.
Yeah, I got mine signed. I'm very fortunate to have it. Excellent read. My favorite book about ELP happens to be this one.
I got that one.
This is really, really exhaustive, but an easy read. Then I also have the ELP book that Harld showed, and also from the same company, they've just recently come out with this Keith Emerson book. That's another good one.
Cody, they're calling us out. Hold on, Scott. We're getting called out. Yes, we are. Absolutely. Hey, man, it's not my fault. I can.
Funny thing is, this was not planned at all. We just came on and he's got the flag and the shirt. And I'm like, hey, what's going on here, man? We showed up to the wrong gig.
It's all good. It's all good.
I like to be a little, irreverent sometimes. And so it was a poke in the eye of all the ELP fans, and that everybody knows my favorite band is Yes. But it is also in honor of the great and the one and only Jeff Shilka. It's about time I give him a shout out in the middle of this stream. Yeah, everything I'm wearing, I was given, the shirt, the hat, and look at this tapestry behind me. Yeah,
that's
I did an unboxing video a couple days ago, and Jeff was very, very kind, and so I just wanted to point out that it is maybe a little disrespectful to ELP to be wearing all this Yes stuff, but it's all right. Continue. I apologize.
I don't have a problem with it. I was going to wear my Tarkus shirt, but it's in the laundry, so
Well, I appreciate it.
I got my brain salad shirt on, but anyway.
I have a question. That's a nice poster behind you there, Scott.
Yeah, right.
The brain salad. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, I've had that for quite a while. I don't remember exactly where or when I got it. I've had it so long. They're pretty available out there. But that's that one, it's big. That's why I like it. Yeah. Well, let's see. I was talking about ELP. It's just
welcome to the Proud Corner. Be prepared to get interrupted about 25 times.
I love it. For me, ELP is now these again. One of the things I love about this show, it's a unique place on the internet where those who are on it can feel free to express themselves in a shorthand way and not be made to feel like you're dumb for what you like.
Music, man. It's music.
So much of the internet is not like that. And ELP fans can be very, very, very particular. Guilty as charged. Anyway, a couple of things that I did want to point out before I get into my list. I have a real strong affinity for the early ELP records, and I think a big, big part of that is Eddie Offord.
Yeah.
Who engineered them. They have a full, clear sound. Eddie engineered the basic tracks for Drama by Yes. He did a lot of those seminal Yes records, Close to the Edge. The ones that just sound awesome. Eddie did not do brain salad surgery, and I think it suffered as a result of that. That's my opinion. I always have wished for a version of that Eddie had engineered, because at the time, as I understand it, the band wanted brain salad surgery to sound like it was recorded in a theater. So they actually recorded it at Manticore in a theater, and it sounds like it. And I think it suffers for that. It's not my favorite sounding ELP record, and we'll get to that.
Nor is it mine, but I personally think Greg Lake's production absolutely perfect for the whole Carnival 9 theme. Mm-hmm. Perhaps tracks like Jerusalem, Toccata, they might have suffered a little bit. Maybe Eddie Offord could have maybe put a little more shine on them. But to me, the Carnival 9 suite is so dark and dismal and dystopian and just a little perverted and weird. I don't want Eddie Offord's pristine, perfect production on it, I don't think. So I think it actually works.
Yeah, I think you're right. It does not spoil my enjoyment of the work. It doesn't. But I've often wondered what that album may have sounded like.
Yeah, totally.
It might have been different for the worse. I don't know, but
who knows?
Well, look at all the albums that came after it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Right. A couple of other things that I wanted to point out that I've always wanted to point out. We're going to talk about Carnival 9 later. I would like to point out some differences in the live version of Carnival 9 that I think make it superior. The studio version of The First Impression starts out in A flat. And on the Welcome Back version, they start in F, which is an entire step and a half flat. I feel like maybe they were doing that at the time because they were touring a lot, and possibly Greg was struggling with the higher key.
That's exactly why
I really prefer his voice in F on that part instead of A. It just sounds more natural and less forced. It doesn't spoil anything, but the reason I like that is because also on the Welcome Back version of the third impression, which begins in the studio on E flat, the third impression is in C, also a step and a half flat. And again, I think that key really suits him in the third impression, but in the first impression, right at the beginning of that da 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 da, they modulate up, and it adds some drama to that next section. I feel I like that a lot, and I've always thought, man, I wish they'd have done that in the studio. But
good point, because honestly, I've never liked the lower register on the third impression. It always bugged me, but I kind of always liked it in the first impression. So those are really good thoughts.
And then, of course, I mentioned earlier the horrible bass note clam on the Sheriff on the live version that doesn't spoil it, but every time I hear it, I kind of go, ugh. Anyway, I've got a list of 10, and it's actually a Sweet 16. I've got 6 honorable mentions.
It's March Madness.
Yeah. Sweet 16. At number 16, I have a song called Ballad with an E on the end from Keith's solo album, Changing States, that if you do not know about, you need to find it now. He collaborated not just with Mark Bonilla on that album, but with also the legendary Kevin Gilbert is all over this record. If you like Kevin, and you should seek it out because it's excellent. The song Ballad became the song Close to Home later on, which appeared on Black Moon. I like the Changing States version just a little better. It's got Kevin added some nylon guitar along with Keith, and I really like that. At number 15, Des de la Vida from 3. What an awesome piece of work. It's powerful, and it's melodic, and it's dark. Those 3 words define ELP: powerful, melodic, and dark. Even when they're sweet and pretty, there's a little bit of edge to everything.
Agreed.
Trilogy, which is going to be coming up here later, it's like eating it's like eating a filled donut and then getting smacked in the face with a 2x4 immediately after. It's so joyous and so beautiful and so sweet, and then all of a sudden, whack! It's just out of nowhere, out of virtually nowhere. So
you said it better than I did, man. That was well put.
Number 14, The Score from Emerson, Lake and Powell, a genius record. I know a lot of fans that kind of don't like it or don't remember it well. It sounds wonderful. I think Cozy in the band was genius because he's so different from Carl.
Hey, Scott, guess who's in the peanut gallery? We've got, look who it is, man.
Bardic Depths.
Oh, yeah, we had so much fun talking about Iron Maiden with the Bardic Depths. If you could put 2 artists so completely different and put them in the same basket, that was so great. Good to have you on board. I love that new album by the Bardic Depths. Everybody needs to check it out, by the way.
I adore it. If anyone's watching this and has not picked up the new Bardic Depths, you are not doing yourself any favors because it's very, very good. The great Tim Garrett playing drums on it. Awesome. The whole thing it sounds great. The writing is awesome. It's wonderful stuff. You should go get it. It's a no-brainer.
Yep. We love you, Davey. Davey Bandana, one of the great unsung heroes of modern prog, and we like to sing the praises of the unsung heroes of modern prog. Do we not, Scott, from Unsung Hero Myth of Logic? Yeah, we do.
All right, where was I? Oh, 13. A song called Another Frontier, also from Changing States, that became Changing States on the Black Moon record. Different arrangement. Ending is a little different. I think it sounds better than the Black Moon version. Black Moon is a little thin sounding in comparison to Changing States overall. But check that one out. Like I said, Keith Emerson, the album was called Changing States. It's kind of hard to find sometimes. I think you can stream it, but it's excellent. Okay, at number 12, Pirates.
Yeah.
Love this song. I've always loved it. I love singing along to it. It's right in my stomping ground for my best vocal range, and I love singing along with this song. And the lyrics are just so well constructed.
The great Peter Sinfield.
Sinfield back. And I remember when this album came out, we were just all so excited, because they just delivered in spades for us. We had waited forever for the new record, and it was like, here, have this. Number 11, off of Brain Salad Surgery, Toccata.
Oh, yeah.
I love the story about Toccata's creation and conception, and how Keith actually went to Ginastera and got his permission. And I've heard the original, and it's just such a brave take on such a unique composer's work. And Keith was always doing things like that, which was great. All right, into my top 10. We're going to start with this one.
Woo!
And the track is The Sheriff. I love The Sheriff because it has a little similarities to maybe some of their other songs, but it's absolutely unique. It's got barrel house piano on it. It's got Carl Palmer dropping an expletive in the middle of his fill because he screws up. The first time I heard that, I said, "Did he say what I?" Yeah, he did. And it's just it's a neat little story. It's almost like a country song because it tells a story, but it's got these virtuoso performances from the three guys in the band who were. I mean, there's no other words to use to describe those three guys. They were virtuosos, players. Yeah. Greg as a vocalist and a player, they're just
nice guys too.
Yes. Let's see here. I gotta find it. Hang on. We're up to number 9, and from this one, we have The Barbarian.
Yeah.
Which,
man.
Again, kind of proto-prog metal. Yeah. It starts out with a distorted bass guitar. Greg and John Wetton were at the forefront of, plugging a bass into a fuzz box and just going nuts with it. And Chris Squire as well. Chris was definitely at those guys were all. It was an important component of what they did at all times. And The Barbarian is just wonderful. It's so angry and angular and powerful. Anyway, okay, that's The Barbarian. At number 8, sticking with this one.
Yeah.
Take a Pebble.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Keyboard man.
There's nothing not to love about that song, and it's such a great recording. It's got the interlude in the middle with Greg taking off on his acoustic guitar for a little side jaunt, which that's one of the underlying things about King Crimson that I think carried over to particularly the early Emerson, Lake and Palmer work is that dynamic range. I mean, you've really got to be within arm's reach of your volume control to really listen to Take a Pebble, because it gets really quiet. And it also gets really loud. And Crimson did that very effectively on their first record and other records too. They manipulated that. That's something that a lot of artists, myself included, sometimes neglect to. We forget about dynamics. We remember melody and harmony and tones and all these other things we get distracted with. And we sometimes forget to factor dynamics into
That's
that.
right. I blame the compression wars, man. I blame the awful CD format that kicked off the compression wars to start with. Yeah, that's a very valid point. We don't think about dynamics nearly enough. And we should, because it's, one of the things you have control over as an artist, right?
Yep, absolutely. All right, take a pebble, and then we're gonna go. Let's see, at number 7. Back to Brain Salad, Jerusalem. One of my favorite tracks ever from the band. It would definitely be way at top of my list if I was forced to select fewer, but I have a little more room here. So I love the fact that they caught a lot of guff from the English government, specifically the BBC, over this song. They were banned over this song. And all it is a straight reading of an English hymn.
Yeah.
And, you know, their motivation is still not clear as to why they did it. But this, again, is another supreme example, and there's another one coming up, of Greg Lake and that voice. That there's a reason why people in and around him and throughout the industry called him the Voice.
Yeah.
That voice, there's never been, I mean, after Steve Walsh, who is my all-time favorite singer, there is only Greg Lake. Greg Lake and Steve Walsh, I always say about Steve Walsh, if God made a better voice, he kept it to himself. I mean, there's nothing that guy in his prime could not sing. He was so astounding. And Greg is just, I love listening to him sing. I absolutely adore how he sings. And from there, sticking with the Greg Lake thing, I am going to pick one track from Pictures, and that track is The Sage.
Yep.
I didn't pick any of the other Lake ballad things because although I like them all and appreciate them all and listen to them all on a regular basis, The Sage is the one that touches me.
Yeah.
The lyric is absolutely beautiful. His performance is immaculate, absolutely immaculate. It's a tricky piece to, there you go. White vinyl, baby.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anyone out there who plays guitar and has tried to play that song will know it's a tricky little piece. It doesn't sound like it. It's not Lucky Man. Lucky Man's easy.
Right.
The Sage is hard, and he's singing like a choir boy over it. And
now that's the part that money can't buy. You know, get some guitar lessons, you'll figure it out. But Greg's voice.
He was born with that, and it's just it's so pure and so beautiful. And now we are going, let's see, that was number 6. At number 5, going back to Trilogy, Hoedown.
What a perfect album, man. What amazing.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it now. Trilogy is my favorite ELP record. It is. It's just, I think it's the point where what they had assembled to do, they really achieved it in perfect fashion. Now, it could be said that with Brain Salad Surgery, they evolved and perfected it more and got, you know, darker and angrier and spread it out in all different directions. It's got its own thing. But for me, Trilogy is the nexus of everything ELP. It just will be. And Hoedown is one of the standout tracks, particularly the studio recording. It's at a little saner tempo.
Yeah, it's a little crazy live.
We mere mortals who are not Keith Emerson on the keyboards can try to keep up. And for years, I couldn't understand how he was doing that sweeping synth noise. That it's just the modular Moog, and he's got it set up with a sound and a portamento to get it to do that. And when I first heard that, I went, God, that's such a wild sound. How's he doing that? But ELP is littered with that throughout their career and history. They're littered with those, how is that being done moment, you know, where you just go, okay. Sticking with my favorite ELP record for number 4, Trilogy.
Yeah.
The cream donut with the 2x4 across the face. It's just the beginning of that song. Excuse me one second. The beginning of that song it's just gorgeous. That's the feeling that the beginning of that song evokes is something that I strive to present in my own music a lot. That feeling of just, I don't know, joy, I guess. It's just such a beautiful piece of music, and then it gets so ugly and angry, and I love it. That dichotomy is just that's human existence, beauty and ugliness, in perfect harmony, and that track represents that. All right,
That's
moving
true.
along.
Great point.
I'm gonna try and keep this moving because I don't want to.
That's right, man. TikTok.
Yeah. After Trilogy, Carnival 9. What can I say? Considered in many corners of the fandom, their masterpiece. And who am I to argue? Certainly one of my very favorite pieces by them. I listened to it again this morning. I still kind of prefer the live version. I do. If I'm being honest, I have an edit of that song that I made myself with no drum solo in it. And I feel like it. Carl's solos at that time just were a little repetitive, and his soloing was based a lot on showmanship. And if you don't see it, it's not as enjoyable, I don't think.
Well, there's a point to be made there.
I can appreciate it's Carl Palmer, for crying out loud. I mean,
right.
You know.
Oh, I get you. All
right. Moving along. At number 2, I'm coming to the end here, I promise. Number 2. Tarkus. Title track off that album, Tarkus.
Yeah.
You know, what can I say? That 5/4, which actually has to be counted by tens at the beginning. Carl came up with that drum fill and that feel rather.
Yeah.
He was playing that, and Keith said, I can do something with that. And he did 18 plus minutes with it. He just went nuts with it off there. I will say that, as has been mentioned earlier, I too kind of prefer the live version, only because Greg unleashes Epitaph in the middle of it, and it's just one of those moments where you go, you know. All right, we are up to number 1, and number 1 from the best ELP album, or my favorite, I should say, my favorite ELP album. The Endless Enigma and Fugue. That's always been my favorite ELP track from the very first time I heard it. You know, it has all that weird spaghetti western stuff at the beginning of it, you know, and then all that weird. It's not a bagpipe. It's some other kind of instrument. I can't remember what it is, but
not a hurdy-gurdy or something.
It's something weird. They were traveling.
I wonder what they used for that.
Yeah, it's in one of the books that I showed earlier.
I bet you somebody in the peanut gallery knows. We got some smart people in here.
They launch into that little, you know, which doesn't last nearly long enough, I don't think. And then it just keeps moving and evolving and changing. And the fugue in the middle with the piano stuff, it's perfection. It's absolute perfection.
Indisputable.
Yeah, that's my number 1. Endless Enigma and Fugue. And
so good.
Go buy my stuff.
Buy the stuff.
That's as pluggy as I get.
Everybody, that's Scott, the great Scott from Mythologic. Check him out. He's official now. Mythologic is got their own entry on Prague Archives. It's like you're not real unless you're actually listed there, right?
I got to tell you, Scott, that was a big deal because you have to be nominated and approved by 3 other. You can't ask to be on there.
No, it's a whole thing, man. It is a whole thing to be on there. It
came out of the blue.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it came completely out of the blue and really surprised me, honestly.
That's awesome stuff, man. Good deal. And they're asking Mythologic, come on, Zeb. Don't do me like that. Look at your screen.
Myth of Logic. Yeah.
But it's Mythologic. Anyway, good job. Looks like Harold's half asleep, but I know he is asleep. He can't keep his little eyes open. But Tara, how's your internet connection right now?
I think it's okay. Is it?
Okay.
It sounds better.
Sounds good. Looks good to me.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I've been very quiet because I'm very intrigued to hear about everyone's stories with getting into Emerson, Lake and Palmer, because mine is very different. So how I came across him was I was a big fan of H.R. Geiger, I love gothic art, and that's how I got into them. Now, obviously, my dad was playing them around the house, but I was like, oh God, that's kind of scary. And I was always pulled into like music like gong and stuff that would tell like stories about fairy tales. So it took me a few years. It was a very gradual kind of thing of getting into them. Fanfare for the Common Man was used for something on the radio over here, so that was played a lot. And I was like, that's kind of... So the first song I ever heard by them properly was From the Beginning. And I love the guitar. And then I heard them playing, I was like, oh, okay, this is...
Tara's got issues. All of a sudden, your internet's not working great, Tara.
Oh, for God's sake, lads, that's what I get for living in Ireland. Like, everything is just backers. Like,
come to Canada. Come to Canada.
We made her wait too long.
We'll muddle through. We'll figure it out.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
you were talking about From the Beginning. Or not from... yeah, From the Beginning.
It was my thing, because it would have been someone I've actually heard probably. Go and after a while.
Yeah, we caught about 1% of that, Tara. We're going to actually try to see if we can get you sorted out, because we definitely want to get all of your top picks, Tara. I don't know if you've got, figure out a way to get a better connection, but like, I mean, I'm watching you even on your screen. You're like all herky-jerky and stuff. It's not looking great right now. So let's move right ahead and let's go to Wayne. You see how that works? That's probably the best thing. Just drop off, try to come back in. We'll figure it out. But in the meantime, you see Jeff had it figured out. Log off, come back on. So we'll try that. In the meantime, Wayne, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'll kind of keep this short. My intro to ELP was actually our episode we did, going through their entire discography, like back right around the beginning of when we started. So really had a great time listening to ELP, and I will always say, if Emerson, Lake and Powell would have came out just 2 years earlier, we'd be talking about great ELP. But anyway, I'll keep this short. Number 10 for me is I know Cody talked about this song, but Taste of My Love from Love Beach. I like it. There's just something about that. I don't know why. I just like that song.
Oh, you're being serious?
Yeah. I actually like that song. There's something about the cheesiness of Love Beach that it's you know what? It kind of becomes endearing after a while.
Well, I will say this about that album. It's very, very well recorded and well produced.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot fault the recording of it. It sounds beautiful.
Compass Point, man. Compass Point was an amazing studio. A lot of great records came out of there.
Yeah. On to number 9 for me after that is from where the heck did it go? From the Black Moon album, Farewell to Arms.
Yes, absolutely right.
I love it.
I love that song. Had they not put out In the Hot Seat, I really think ELP, you could say, had a career where there really wasn't a dud in there. Maybe somewhere you like more than others, but there wasn't that dud.
Right.
And that. But anyway, on to the next one is The Only Way Him.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Just a great song from this band. Next one from Works, Hallowed Be Thy Name. Where if you want to hear pretty much ELP doing pretty much show tunes, like a Disney show tune, that would be it.
Okay.
When you say "Hallowed Be Thy Name," I'm forced to think about a different track. I have to say,
well, Iron Maiden is still fresh in your mind, Cody.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Just last week.
That was such a great stream.
That was
having a great Davey bandana on here, a band that he'd never even listened to, and I gave him 5 songs to listen to, and he listened to them. That was fun, and just getting his thoughts about it. I'm thinking about doing more of that maybe sometime down the road, is just getting an artist on here and making them listen to something they've never heard before. That's always fun.
Do it.
I'm up for that.
Yeah, there you go.
On to number 6 for me, from the Emerson, Lake and Powell album, Mars, the Bringer of War.
Oh, yeah.
I love that one. That was number 17 in my Sweet 16. Tara.
Great track. Tara's
Hi.
Awesome.
All right. Woo!
Okay, what's the story? Wayne is going, is he?
Yeah, Wayne's going.
Okay.
Oh, you sound much better.
Yay.
Yeah, feeds much better.
Number 5 for me is Jerusalem.
Yep, that was on my
It's
list.
a fantastic song.
Yeah.
Number 4, The Three Fates.
Yeah.
From their debut album. Number 3. Oh man, so many great songs left here to choose, but The Endless Enigma.
Yeah,
this one.
Just a fantastic song. Number 2 for me is Carnival 9. And number 1, and I have to say, I love the playing of Aqua Tarkus. Tarkus is my favorite track.
Yeah.
I knew it.
ELP.
That's a killer.
That's a good one.
Honorable mentions, On My Way Home from the 3 album. Just a great way to close out that album. Memoirs, Officer and a Gentleman, Fan for the Common Man. LA Nights was another one from the works. Bitches Crystal from Tarkus.
Oh, yeah.
And
love it.
Yeah, that's it.
All right,
Right on,
fantastic. Woo! Hey, I don't mean to rush you out, but I'm looking at Tara. She's not looking all weird and pixelated and whatnot. So I want to strike while the iron's hot and try to get some quality time with Tara, see if she's got some quality picks.
Okay, well, I wouldn't say they're quality because everyone has kind of said them already, but here we go. I've always got a different little angle of how I got into them. So I was talking about number 10 for me from the beginning because it was my first one that I heard by them. So after that, I started to delve into them a bit, and I saw one of their live performances. And when I saw Keith Emerson hopping up on that Hammond organ like that, with the daggers that he got off Lemmy, shoving him into that was it. I was hooked.
Yeah.
He was like, Dad, give me every album you have by Emerson, Lake and Palmer right now.
Knives that were loaned to him by none other than Lemmy, apparently.
Yeah, Lemmy gave him those daggers by some man.
Apparently Keith was using like butter knives or something like that. And Lemmy's like, dude, if you're going to be putting them between the keys of the Hammond, you need a real knife. Here you go. Yeah. He just happened to have one. That's so Lemmy, right? Here you go.
Like, here you go. So yeah, that was me hooked. So I got into him. I heard the first album, Knife Edge number 9, was absolutely brilliant. And what sucked me in even more was the lyrics. The delivery of them by Greg Lake, of course, was absolutely fabulous, but the actual lyrics and their meaning was very thought-provoking for me. So anyway, I got more into him and I heard Jerusalem, which will be number 8 for me. And when I heard how kind of primal Greg Lake was about singing it, I was like, this is just absolutely fantastic. So anyway, I keep going with Brain Salad Surgery. I hear Toccata, which will be number 7. And I was like, oh my God, these guys are just unreal. Now, I had heard loads of stuff by The Nice, so I knew that Keith Emerson loved all the classical stuff and putting his spin on it, which I think is another brilliant thing, that he can kind of take stuff and put his impression on it, which is a very lasting impression. And I love that cover. Before I knew about the tool on the front of it, the hidden tool. But anyway, so that was number 7. Number 6 is Benny the Bouncer, because I think it's a real catchy tune, like, and it's always stuck in my head. I was like, all right, nice one, lads, nice one. Number 5.
Davey was just saying, look here, hey man, I'm not feeling any love for Benny the Bouncer. Well, there you go.
Bouncer, lads. And that, do you see the poster Cody's holding up? Do you know the Vaseline lens that they use? Greg Lake is definitely naked in that picture. Anyway, so number 5 is Bitches Crystal from side 2 of Tarkus, which I know it's very hard. I've said before in one of my videos, when you listen to Tarkus, you put on side 1, you go and have a cold shower, and then you put on side 2 so that you can really kind of get into the songs. Number 4 is The Endless Enigma. The way it starts is very mysterious and strange, and then those vocals when he comes in, why do you stare? Do you think that I care? I was like, oh yes.
And we're still waiting for an answer. What in the world is that instrument at the beginning of that song?
It's in one of the books, Scott. Let me see if I can find it.
It's a wind instrument. I know. Oh, what is it called?
Is that a Zukra?
Something weird, like I remember reading up on it and I was like, what the hell? But it was something.
Okay. Well, Frog Ian just said Zukra. So
Zukra.
Yeah.
I think that's correct. Correct.
Well, cool. Right. We learned something. You see, it's an educational thing. It's a public service we provide here, Tara. You know, it's more than just entertain.
We're all mad, like, of course, that's what we're here for.
You know, are you not entertained? Of course you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on. Now, Keith Emerson was all about entertainment. Did you see the outfits on him? Like, so what am I on? I'm on number 3, which is, it was so hard for me to rank these tunes, but I'm just going to go off what order I would have heard them in myself. So number 3 is Pictures at an Exhibition.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if I was to pick something in particular off that, I would go for The Curse of Baba Yaga.
You can't split this up, man.
You know I love Van der Graaf Generator, so when I heard that I was like, this is right up my alley. Absolutely brilliant. And then number 2 is Carnival 9, which, like Harld said, it's like a face-off between humanity and the machine, which is a brilliant story. The way you can even hear in it, like you're falling down this kind of whole do is just unreal. Like, they were some composers, the 3 lads. Even seeing them play live, the way Carl Palmer was just there with Emerson on every note was unreal. Like, I don't think you're ever going to see anything like that again.
I don't expect to.
Yeah, number 1 for me is Tarkus, which is very obvious. I always say it. On my channel. The first time I heard it, I don't know how I didn't have a brain aneurysm, but I just about survived hearing it for the first time, and here I am today to tell the tale.
You made it in one piece.
I made it, guys.
That was an awesome video, Tara. I loved that top 10 prog epics video that you did with your dad. That was just great. That was awesome.
Everybody loved it. The numbers on that video have been terrific. Not that I'm pumping at people's numbers.
I have something to tell you. We are currently working together on an idea for a show on prog radio.
Woo! Yeah.
There you go. Wow. If Kevin doesn't have an ear for talent, I don't know who does. That's pretty exciting. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm an insider. I knew this already.
Have you heard about this already, Cody?
Cody gets to hear everything first. He's special.
I'm an insider. I'm an insider.
Well, I'm feeling a little hurt that this is the first thing of it. That's okay. It's
not
a problem. Not at all.
No.
Anyway, fantastic list. Tara, wow. Again, congratulations on all the success your channel's having. Hopefully we'll get your dad up on here again soon. I'm going to rattle off my list, and I usually do the one per album rule, but it just doesn't feel right with ELP.
Do they even have 10 studio albums?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, 12. I don't want to put an album from In the Hot Seat or Black Moon.
Not an ELP album.
I don't want to. That being said, I do have a tie at number 10. Canario. Love Beach wasn't all bad, right?
No,
it
it
had
wasn't.
a Long Epic that was pretty good. And Canario, actually really cool. Fantastic little song. Jeremy Bender has been mentioned a couple times, but man, I love that little track. I just adore it. Des de la Vida. Unexpected, probably the most underrated track in the entire discography. The one that I would point to if people were like, they didn't do anything good after brain cell and surgery. I'd point them in that direction and say, are you sure about that? But at number 10, I'm going with, it's been mentioned, but incorrectly so, because everybody knows that the only way, parenthetically him / infinite space, parenthetically conclusion, is one song, right? I mean, you can't break that up into two pieces of music. It's one track. I absolutely love it. Everybody talks about how side 1 of Tarkus is perfect, but side 2's garbage. They are wrong. They're dead wrong. And that is Exhibit A. Just an amazing piece of music. At number 9, I'm going with The Barbarian. Just incredible. What a way to just kick things off, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, here's a mission statement. This is what we do. And I don't think any band ever has begun their career with as gutsy mission statement as that. At number 8, I'm going with, what am I going with? Yeah, I'm going with Trilogy. What a beautiful track. Again, breaking down stereotypes. There's no love songs in Prague. Really?
Yes, there are.
Are you sure about that? You better check the lyric sheet on this one, son. At number 7, I've got Jerusalem. It's been mentioned many, many times, but if there's one track I would point to, if you want to know what Emerson, Lake and Palmer is all about, yeah, you could play an epic for them, but people have short attention spans. Jerusalem is short, sweet, it's perfect. At number 6, I'm going with Pirates. Oh man, Scott talked about how much we waited and how long we waited for new music from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Dude, didn't it feel like eternity?
I was in agony. I was in agony.
God, year after a painful year would go by, and hey, at least Yes put out those solo albums to tide us over, but we were getting Jack Doodly Squad out of Emerson, Lake or Palmer.
And there was no word. There's no internet. We couldn't keep tabs on him. There was nothing.
Then Worst Volume 1 drops. I finally get to see him with the 60-piece orchestra,
I saw him twice on that
choir. Just so good. And Pirates, as good as anything they ever did. At number 5, I am not going to consider Pictures one continuous piece of music, but I probably should. I have written down The Great Gates of Kiev, but you know what? Scratch that. Just call it Pictures at an Exhibition. The whole thing. It's beautiful. Yes. It's perfect. And how smart was that thing to come out with the smart price? I think we paid like $2.99 or $3.99 for it. Something like that.
$5.79. Yep.
We could afford it, man. So we bought it, and it turned out to be amazing. At number 4, from the debut, I'm going back, taking another bite at that apple. I'm going with Knife Edge. Yeah. Knife Edge is just, again, one of those tracks you can point to, a standalone track. Why is Emerson, Lake and Palmer good? Now, listen to this track, and we'll talk at number 3. I'm going with the entire Endless Enigma Part 1 fugue, Endless Enigma Part 2. It is a suite. All 3 tracks just function beautifully. What's it, like 14 minutes in total?
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Scott talked about the production on this album. There can be absolutely no mistake. One of the best sounding albums I've ever heard, right up there with Asia and Fragile for these ears. As far as like perfect sounding albums, Trilogy right up there. Absolutely. At number 2, I'm flipping the script on some of you clowns. I'm going with Tarkus at number 2. And at number 1,
that's where I had
because it's longer, it's Carnival 9. The good people who brought you Jumanji have bought the rights to the story. So apparently there will be a Carnival 9 movie at some point. I think that would be really, really cool. Anyway, I just want to briefly remind folks that next week we are doing the best album sides. Side 1 of Close to the Edge doesn't count, and Don't Get Cute. Side 2 of Foxtrot doesn't count. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And that's April 7th. And then the following week, April 14th, we're doing Marillion, the top 10 Marillion tracks. And this one is going to be sponsored by the great Alex from the Beer and Vinyl channel. He's been wanting to do it, so he will be here for that. And then, this is exciting. I haven't really had a chance to talk about it. Apparently, I talked about Mirthrander a while back. I did an episode, The Greatest Album You've Never Heard, and dude sent me a copy of their old 1976 release that, well, it's being reissued, and we are doing a live simulcast press conference for the reissue of Mirthrander's 1976 masterpiece, For You, the Old Woman. So we will have the 3 remaining members of the band, surviving members of the band, along with me. And I think Kevin from Prog Radio will be on the stream. I know for sure he'll be simulcasting the event live on Prog Radio while we're doing it live April 20th, which is a Saturday. It's 1:00 Eastern. We're still working out, this is really exciting because this has never been done before. This is something brand new. And I kind of envision this as like the new norm for bands, particularly, smaller bands on small labels or whatnot that want to do something a little different, make a little splash to announce a new record. Come on the Prog Corner, do a live press conference, talk about it, and then Kevin can play your music and stuff like that. It's going to be awesome. We don't know exactly how it's going to go, but I'm asking for everybody's help on this because it's going to be a big deal. And honestly, I think this could be like a new direction for a lot of bands to try to promote their music in a different and modern kind of way. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited that Kevin at Prog Radio is into it. And I love Mirthrander. So this is like perfect for me. One of my favorite 70s bands. They put out one fantastic record back then in 1976. So that's coming up April 20th. Any questions, boys and girls?
I'm just happy to be here, man.
That was a good one, man.
When do I get to do this again? This was a hoot.
There you go. Well, let's see. I know I got Alex for the Marillion. Who's on next week? Cody, do we have you next week?
Me.
Let's see. Okay. Scott, Wayne. Are you?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Wayne, Cody. Tara said, yeah.
Yeah.
Best album sides. Harld, are you in?
No, sorry.
Next week. Okay. Hey.
I'll do best album sides. I can do it right now.
We got to take it to a vote. Cody, yay or nay on the return of Scot?
Yeah, big time. Absolutely.
Okay. Wayne, thumbs up or thumbs down on Scot coming back?
Thumbs up.
Tara, do we want him back or no?
Absolutely.
Oh boy. Now
all right, cool. So you are on the hook for next week, and that is best album sides, and that gives us a little wiggle room for a surprise guest. Who's it going to be? I don't know. It's going to be really exciting, but anyway, guys, next week on the Prog Corner, I've been seeing all these videos, most important bands. I think Barry did it. I think Andy Edwards did it. Most important bands of all time. Well, I'm going to, niche down like I always do. And I'm doing the 10 most important prog bands next week. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to my next ranking, which is going to be the Straubs. I don't know if I'll get to it next week or the following week. Still working on that. But anyway, I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East.
Love you too, man.
Yeah, man. Free the Ukraine because, honestly, who cares about Tibet? God save the king! Save him! I love you guys. I'll see you. Peace.
Peace.